Brought to you by Fumbisayaka. Cooking with electricity is now so affordable with the Fumba tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority.
A very good evening to you all. Thank you for watching UBC Television with me, Wadulo Mark Arnold. We're broadcasting live from Nile Avenue Broadcast House. And this is your news tonight. Without further ado, let's take a look at tonight's top stories. In our news tonight, Mitoma youth endorsed Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as their sole candidate for 2026-2031. A 3-month Ebola response plan to cost government 65 billion Ugandan shillings. Tanzanian doctor buried in Fort Portal after succumbing to Ebola virus disease. And Indonesia, 125 at least dead in football stadium crash in Indonesia. Once again, thank you for joining us. We'll now give you the news in detail. To start off, youth in Mitoma district have endorsed President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as their sole candidate for the forthcoming general elections. Now, this was during the Youth Day celebrations held at Bubangizi Playgrounds in Kashenshero Town Council, Mitoma district, officiated by the Vice President Major Jessica Alupo. Members of Parliament from Ankole region appended their signatures showing support to the youth decision, saying that they will ensure support for development under President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The Vice President Jessica Alupo officiated the function, and in attendance were Defense Minister Bamulangachi Sempija, for Trade Dr. Mwebesa, for Internal Affairs Major General Kahinda Otafire, MPs and area politicians. The Vice President Jessica Alupo thanked the youth for being patriotic and promised total support to the innovation among the youth.
Now this is the advice. So I use my because at the end of the day, no one go in a degree, no one go in the first class. You have to behave. Because I have seen very good innovations here.
I want to take this opportunity to invite all the members of Parliament and those that are hosting us, and as members of Parliament from the region, we shall continue working with you and promoting the agenda of development.
I'm happy to be here today to join the youth as you're celebrating. The Vice President of Uganda, allow me to thank the youth of Busheli Greater, the Ankole, and the country in general for being patriotic.
And yes, that's to do the endorsement. But at the end of the day, we shall have proposed to say to accept or reject your endorsement. Because the final word, the final say, is with the Central Executive Committee of the National Resistance Movement. I was saying, they were going to
we welcome the idea from you. We welcome the idea, that's why we have signed. Unfortunately, for the case of Uganda, the youth are 70% of the segment of the population, the total population of the country. So that means that what we have signed today is already supported by the 70% of Uganda's population. And therefore, we, other segments now, of elders, of women, of disabilities, will just come to reinforce you in order for us to achieve success in 2026.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has asked the Christian ministry to help the followers achieve decent standards of living. This was contained in a message delivered for him by the Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, During the Golden Jubilee celebrations for Bukedi Diocese as they marked 50 years of existence at St. Peter's Cathedral in Tororo.
President Yoweri Museveni has congratulated the people of Bukedi upon reaching this important milestone of a Golden Jubilee and thanked the Right Reverend Samuel Bogere Egesa for inviting him to join the faithful of the diocese as they celebrate 50 years of existence. Museveni says religious leaders should encourage the faithful under their stewardship to work hard. The president says that the NRM government recognizes the role of the church in shaping the morals of our society by condemning social ills like corruption, child abuse and sacrifices, and early marriages.
The Christian ministry must help the followers to achieve decent standards of living here on earth. This simply means that besides preparing the believers for their future heavenly home, the religious leaders encourage the faithful under their stewardship to work hard. This is a crucial point which some believers fail to understand and also practice.
The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the Most Reverend Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, who was the main celebrant at the Jubilee celebrations, asked the people of Bukedi for transcending tribal differences to develop their area. His Grace Kazimba asked believers to desist from acts of witchcraft and other forms of sins to enter the kingdom of God.
You feel somebody going to heaven after the service. He goes back to witchcraft. Others are drunkards. They sing in the choir here. They have other choirs. And drinking places. Mwenge tunakunywa mitala bendegere. And then he comes the
The leaders from the area, who included Minister of State for Defense Jacob Oboth, prayed for the unity of the people and reminded the government to fulfill the creation of more districts south of Tororo. President Museveni donated 80 million shillings to Bukedi Diocese. In eastern Uganda, the Prime Minister also donated 20 million shillings toward the construction of the Jubilee House in Tororo Municipality. Bishop Samuel Bogere Egesa explained that the Bukedi Diocese plans to create another diocese as they celebrate 50 years. The Prime Minister later laid the foundation stone for the construction of the Tororo Diocese Jubilee House on behalf of the President.
When you begin something, you complete it. We pray in the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
So on behalf of government, I take the honor. On behalf of the President and government, I take the honor.
The day was marked under the theme Growing in the Unity and Self-Sustainability. The Golden Jubilee celebrations were attended by several bishops, including the Bishop of Bunyoro Kitara Diocese, Right Reverend Samuel Kahuma, political leaders, among others.
In other news, the Ministry of Health has developed a 3-month Ebola response plan estimated to cost about 65 billion Ugandan shillings. The Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Luther Cheng, says that her ministry is working with health development partners to contain further spread of the disease. These are the details.
But we use it to look after our health workers. The current outbreak has now affected 4 districts. That is Mubende, which has the epicenter at Madudu. It has also affected Chegegwa, Kasanda, and the last district that came on board yesterday is Kagadi. All these districts have one characteristic in common, in that people from Madudu ran to these districts because they thought there was witchcraft in Madudu, and they were running away either to find a safe haven or to reach out to relatives to help them treat what to them was a strange disease that they did not understand. However, with the various interventions that we have had, the people of Madudu have now understood that it is Ebola and it is not witchcraft. So I am confident that moving forward, their running away will stop, and we will have to deal with those that had previously run away and probably seeded these other districts with Ebola. In our closed-door meeting, we discussed mobilization of resources. And what we are mobilizing currently is $18 million, which is equivalent to 65 billion, to support the response for 3 months. This money is quite little. It is not enough to completely bring the Ebola epidemic to an end. However, it is enough to move us as we assess the evolution of the pandemic, of the epidemic, because right now we don't know which direction it will take. We only are very sure of what is currently in Mubende. But in the 20 districts, information will keep on coming, and when cases come up, then we shall know. But we have budgeted for them as well in terms of surveillance and in terms of laboratory needs and protective wear for them to take off whenever there is a report that is made on the current epidemic.
And relatedly, the Tanzanian national who succumbed to Ebola at Fort Portal Hospital has also been laid to rest at Fort Portal Referral Hospital Cemetery in Fort Portal City. Fort Portal Referral Hospital Director Dr. Alex Adaku says that the decision to bury Muhammad Ali in Fort Portal was reached after the Ministry of Health and Tanzanian Embassy agreed to avoid further spread of the virus during transportation.
Minister of Health guidelines stipulate that when a person dies of any highly infectious disease, such a person is buried within the location where death has occurred. It is for this reason that Fort Portal City and Kabarole District Health Departments, Ebola Task Force, carried out a safe burial of a health worker who died from Ebola in Fort Portal City.
This is just for safety purposes. Cases are expected to be managed where they have occurred. And therefore also those who die, it's preferred that they also bury it closer to prevent movement and handling such a body with the multiple involvement of others that may also cause a spread of the illness.
Before the burial, the team of 7 men were first briefed about the do's and don'ts, and each given PPEs and marked with their names, time and exercise they are going to conduct. Fully dressed is observed of standard operating procedures. The team carried the body to the burial grounds. The safe and dignified burial team was conducted by Uganda Red Cross Society and Uganda People's Defense Forces.
Uganda, government of Tanzania had agreed that we bury him from here. We bury him here in Fort Portal. We have been also helped by A+, Red Cross, and colleagues from the Mohoti barracks.
The deceased being Muslim, prayers were conducted by a Muslim sheikh from a distance at a burial site to avoid further spread of the virus. However, the close contact of the deceased and the student of Kampala International University has tested positive of Ebola and currently under treatment at Fort Portal Referral Hospital, adding that the number of the admitted patients has now reached 6.
He realized that he's feeling body weakness, he has some malaria, and decided to come. so that the samples could be tested. So he came here by himself.
Still within the health sector, the chairperson, Board of Directors, Mulago National Referral Hospital, Dr. Edward Kanyesije, wants all health facilities, both private and public, to adopt electronic systems of managing patients. Now, this call comes at a time when most health providers are still using paper-based systems in patient management.
Although most healthcare providers are embracing digital technologies in the management of patients, some facilities still use paper-based system that is gradually becoming out-fashioned. Electronic health records management is taking shape, and according to the chairperson Board of Directors, Mulago National Referral Hospital, Dr. Edward Kanyesije, all healthcare providers need to adopt such technologies.
Imagine a patient entering a hospital. From the time they enter up the time they leave, a lot of paperwork happens. I think you've been always accusing doctors of writing too much. When a patient enters the room, you see a doctor writing. When the patient goes away to the window to collect medicine, you see somebody writing. What is now going to happen is that when the patient arrives, right from the time they are arriving, somebody will just click a button on the computer, and the button will show you the page at which the patient's details have already been captured. You know that is the real patient, and in order for you to confirm, you may ask the patient to put their fingerprints, and once they put a thumbprint, then that means that that's the proper patient, so nobody can come and use services meant for another person. Then all the medicines have been recorded on the same space. They call it a platform in IT language. Now the joy of this is that should a patient go to hospital for the 9th time, then the doctor doesn't have to write again.
Kanyesije was speaking at the launch of the web-based electronic data interchange platform by Smart Applications International, an ICT solutions provider, and Suncare Medical Insurance. The electronic system of patient management is meant to ease health service provision.
Also, this platform is not going to be using complicated infrastructure. It is going to be using connections which rely on mobile phones. And I'm very sure that in all these areas, members who are there have mobile phones. We are able to link with the mobile network in the location, and we are able to receive this information. On the other hand, it is an advantage because while it would be so tedious for someone to move a physical claim from Kabong, to move a physical claim from Kanungu, from Kabale, from Chisoro to Kampala, for Sanlam to go ahead and complete the process, as we speak.
From 3 to 1. 3, 2,
those claim forms where people write, we have seen some practice, I'm not saying all, some will go and add lines of service which you have not utilized. What do I mean? You've had a consultation with a doctor, and maybe you didn't go for lab, but they gave you medication. But you'll find in the back end, they go back to those claim forms because it's writing. They go and add that you maybe had a typhoid test, and then you had another malaria test and a complete blood count, and then they total up the bill, and yet they did not do it, which means that it's depleting the money that you have on your card as a member. So when you need it in an emergency situation, you'll be told that you have depleted your funds for that particular benefit. But with this electronic card, we are saying whatever is captured at the point there, and once the bill is closed with the fingerprint, nobody can come back and open that card unless you come back and use your fingerprint.
It is hoped that the adoption of electronic health information management system will positively impact the healthcare landscape through improved service delivery.
In other news, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has said that government is aware and recognizes the contributions of older persons towards Uganda's socio-economic transformation. This was contained in a speech read for him by the Minister of State for Elderly Affairs, Dominic Mafabi Gidudu, during the International Day of Older Persons in Nebi District.
President Museveni has urged leaders to engage and focus their energies in helping communities to improve their household income. This was contained in a speech read for him by the Minister of State for Elderly Affairs, Dominic Mafabi Gidudu, during the International Day of Older Persons celebrations in Nebi District.
It must also be understood that economic development belongs to the community as a whole. But wealth is for individuals, companies, or groups. Now that Uganda enjoys peace and good infrastructure, leaders must help our people to focus on increasing household incomes.
The Nebi District LC5 chairperson Emmanuel Urumbi expressed gratitude to NRM government for choosing his district to host celebrations of this year's International Day of Older Persons.
And West Nile at large love the leadership of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni because he is a promise keeper, a truth teller, patient and kind-hearted person, above all a peacemaker at a continental level.
Development Partners Delegation, led by World Health Organization Dr. Bayo Fatumbi, called upon all stakeholders to commit themselves to taking care of the elderly by amplifying their voices and including them in the center of policy. The Deputy Head of Cooperation, Embassy of Ireland in Uganda, Anna Kilkenny, said the elderly are a vulnerable group who need to be shielded from the impact of the current economic and climate change shocks.
Reflect on the theme of this year's International Day of Older Persons, resilience. I see before us the very role models of resilience. The women who have lived a lifetime of caring and raising for multiple generations.
Chairperson, National Council for Older Persons in Uganda, Charles Isabili, lauded government for supporting and guiding the council.
Just to remind you a bit, older persons as a special interest group, I cannot hide. I think it is being shelved off.
Recognize the contributions made by older persons towards national development and to strengthen awareness among the population on the rights and needs of older persons.
At the same event, Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority gave out 30 mattresses and 30 blankets to Nebi elderly persons of 100 years old and above. The government, in partnership with Centenary Bank, also gave out sedge funds to the elderly persons who attended the event. The event was held under the theme, Resilience of Older Persons in a Changing World.
Muslims in Yumbe district have celebrated 100 years of Islam since 1916 at an event held at Alelinga Islamic Center in Kuru sub-county, where the first 19 Muslim converts started their Islamic faith. The celebration was characterized by a fundraising drive whose proceeds are expected to boost education in Yumbe district.
Alelinga Islamic Center sits on a 29-acre piece of land in Yumbe district, where Islam in West Nile sub-region is believed to have started way back in 1916 with 19 converts. The need to promote education in Yumbe district has been the core reason why Muslim leadership of the district organized the celebration of this centenary to also raise funds for establishment of learning institutions. Yumbe district is one of the districts with low literacy levels in Uganda, and this is why education was not taken serious in the past.
What was the effect of Islamization in this region, particularly in this district? One, they could not be allowed to join secular education because education was started by Christians here, brought by Christians. You will start up to P4, you will not be allowed to continue unless you convert. And our people refused to convert, so they decided to go to madrasas or garia, some elementary education. Because of that single factor, Today, we have literacy rate of about 50–80%. If you compare with the other district and the other regions.
Yumbe District Kadi Sheikh Swaib Al-Hai Achigam explains that establishing institutions of learning, including a technical school in the area, will help to boost the capacity of young people who are jobless because of lack of skills.
We sat as a council to think to that we have to organize and celebrate this 100 years of the existence of Islam, so that we can have lobby from our donors, from any well-wisher to come and support and construct for us a theology center, a school, vocational training school, so that it can help and rescue the idlers.
The Minister for Kampala and Metropolitan Affairs, Minsa Kabanda, represented President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and delivered 30 million shillings contribution from the president. In a message for him, Museveni congratulated the people of Yumbe upon attainment of 100 years of Islam and challenged them to engage in serious agriculture as a way to eliminate poverty and food insecurity.
No, I think they need a clear mindset change from the other side to the modernity of now. I know the MPs are going to work on it. They will earn money because we have parish development model, have other government projects.
The Turkish ambassador to Uganda, Karem Alp, said Yumbe has the same identity with Turkey because of hosting refugees and thanked them for their generosity.
Like Turkey, Uganda is hosting a lot of refugees from the people who are fleeing wars and others. And although Yumbe district is just 1% of Uganda, they are hosting half of the refugees that Uganda is hosting.
Over 500 million shillings was contributed in cash and pledges. Muslim leaders of Yumbe also want the existing foundation of the first mosque in 1916 to be protected as a tourist destination. Yumbe district has 66,000 Muslims with 250 mosques. Joseph Odama, UBC News in Yumbe.
Thank you very much, Joseph Odama. In other news, the Rotary Club of Uganda, together with the Indian Association, have committed to fund the limb and heart surgeries in Uganda. Madhu Sudan Agrawal, the co-founder and vice chairman, Ajanta Pharma Limited, said so far over 20 children have benefited in this program being done and in India, and looking forward to extend it to Uganda at large.
The number of children suffering from heart-related diseases and limb loss keeps increasing, with the parents struggling to meet the funds to cater for properly appropriate treatment, which mostly done outside the country. The Indian community Rotary Club, together with the government, have come up with a strategy of providing artificial limbs to the victims and carrying out art surgeries.
UCI and Dr. Jackson told me that more than 1,000 women's life is saved actually because of that van, mobile van. Same thing happened. Last year we started children's cardiac surgeries. Very difficult surgeries which are not possible to be done in Uganda. So we are very happy again to announce that up to now 22 children are operated successfully. They have come back. Now today we have seen more than 40 children are going to go.
Starting artificial limb camp here with the main supporter and sponsor from Samata Foundation. Mamata Madam and Madhusudan Agarwal, it's a foundation, and we are supporting them to do this event.
Mohan Rao, the chairman, Indian Association of Uganda, has advised parents with children's victims to visit their association to obtain free medical services. He also said soon the program will be conducted within the country for easy accessibility.
Of life. I want any number of children. Let Indian Association and past district governor decide about number of children to be sent to India. We are ready to take care of them.
And Rotary clubs, which number more than 500 in Uganda, to start engaging their communities, to look for, identify those people who need prosthetic limbs, so that we are able to document and they are able to take their measurements and they are able to make limbs for them. That we are working together with the Indian Association of Uganda.
Naiga Aliet, a resident of Wadulo, and Cherabira Benita, a nurse at Gombe Hospital, both are beneficiaries of the program, explained the situations for their children and thanked the Rotary plus the Indian community in Uganda for the opportunity.
So I wasn't taking on weight, so I decided to consult one of our doctor from our hospital. He told me to go to Mulago Heart Institute and do some investigation like echo. They discovered that my child is having heart defect. So I was connected to India.
Abonna abali eyo bamaama abalina abaana abalwadde abalina ebituli ku mitima nga temulina buyambi munoonye ku ba Rotary ne Indian Association bajja bayamba.
The government, through the Ministry of Health, gazetted the specialized unity in hospitals to handle the related cases, including body transplant. Robert Katamba, UBC News.
In other news, Makerere University leadership has committed itself to ensuring mitigation measures are aimed at managing the effects of climate change through promoting tree planting exercises. The principal of Makerere University College of Humanities and Social Sciences, Professor Josephine Ahichire, appeals to other institutions to borrow a leaf and embrace tree planting as a holistic approach against climate change effects.
Makerere University vows to continue leading as others follow in many years, including environmental management. The Principal College of Humanities and Social Sciences, Professor Josephine Ahikire, was officiating a tree planting campaign at the university as a weapon against climate change.
Makerere has a critical role in building sensitivity and ingenuity around the environment, because when people come to this, they are in a formative stage and they are able to be molded to be able to, for instance, appreciate the role of saving the environment. So the university, especially Makerere, as Uganda's premier university, if Makerere takes up something, it has a contagion effect on the whole nation, on the whole region. So we think we have a role to play in terms of taking a lead.
The head of Department, European and Oriental Languages, Professor Natukunda Edith, highlighted the need to instill environmental protection skills among the youth.
So we are also planting trees for environmental awareness. This project, we hope, is going not only to sensitize the teachers, the lecturers, but also sensitize the students. As lecturers, we are going to integrate the sensitization about saving the earth in our teaching of French.
The President French Teachers in Uganda, Agatha Tumwine, said the tree planting campaign is meant to create awareness among the youths and responsible citizens about the importance of environmental protection.
The young ones, the youth, who are the majority, the students are the majority, they are always left out in such activities. So someone comes to know about the importance of environment at a later age when they have already maybe spoiled or destroyed the environment somewhere. So we are saying if learners right from primary, because there are some primary schools as well, right from a young age, they are able to know the importance of environment, protect the environment, then they are going to grow when they are very sensitive, and we are targeting the future generation.
Some of the students who participated in the exercise urged their peers and the general public to take part in the exercise to save the country's environment.
It's a very, very great privilege to participate in saving for the future. Just like we are saying ensemble, sauvons notre planète Terre. We are saving our future on planet Earth.
So 200 schools, 200 trees. We hope that this is going to be, a good start, of course, for inspiring other people and communities.
Let us save our planet Earth.
Now we take you up north. Security regions are working around the clock to unite the 13 communities that live in the Karamoja sub-region. Moroto District Resident Commissioner George William Wampoa made this revelation at the local Best Accountability Forum organized by the Office of the Prime Minister at Nadunget Sub-County Headquarters in Moroto District.
Living in isolation amongst the 13 different communities in Karamoja sub-region has been cited as a major factor fueling the rampant cattle raids and instigating the fear of insecurity in the region.
The vacant places in Karamoja, Nadunget, between Nadunget and Bokora, Lopei, Kanadunget, Kachike, Amani Bayo, Tapach. If these places could be occupied by RDC at your docket, go and discuss. I think it is one way we can have peace. Long time people used to live in those places. Now we are living in isolation. I don't think even the peace we are talking about will come.
This has partly affected the development of government infrastructure projects after most of the contractors abandoned the ongoing works.
Once you don't have security, you cannot have good roads because the money for roads is used for security. The other day, we had a Chinese company was building a road from Nakirori to Nakabati to Rokiriam, but they attacked the Chinese contractor, so they took off. So the road cannot be done.
Health service delivery was not spared after a number of health workers fled the government health facilities.
If there is a security, the health workers cannot stay at the health units. 2, they cannot come early. But 3, they will leave late. So the good work of the health workers is tied to security.
This prompted the security operatives to launch intensive disarmament operations that has seen peace prevailing in Moroto district after 500 guns were recovered.
We were looking for guns at disarmament, we were looking for 500 guns, but we have recovered 510. We have recovered more guns than we thought.
Security officials have emphasized the cattle raiders who are still armed to hand over the weapons voluntarily in an exchange of the benefits of government programs.
Once you have a gun, you have a problem. And most of the people who are dying are younger people. If the younger people die between 13 and 17, at a certain stage of our life, we shall lose out something.
They also warned politicians against exaggerating the matters pertaining insecurity in the region.
For the last 2 months, we have not had a raid. And when you are here in Moroto, you cannot even believe, especially when you are in Kampala. The stories that are put in Kampala by those who want to damage the image of government and the people, you would think the whole district is in chaos. And it scares our investors.
This was at the local Best Accountability meeting held by the Office of the Prime Minister at Nadunget Sub-County Headquarters in Moroto District. Joseph Oko, UBC.
And on a lighter note, it was glamour and pomp as St. Teresa Namiriango Girls School celebrated the feast day of their patron saint under the theme Girl Child is a Priority. The pupils were excited to meet their prominent old students who reminded them about basic things like discipline and commitment to be able to scale to the heights in life.
St. Teresa Namiriango Girls School Center have celebrated a feast day of their patron saint during a function characterized by pomp and glamour. The celebrations were under the theme A Girl Child is a Priority.
So we've encouraged these girls to know that they are very special, and when they get educated, they will make a meaning in the country and the whole world at large.
The pupils that were excited to meet many of their prominent old students were reminded about discipline and commitment to be able to scale their heights in life.
St. Teresa loved Jesus. That's why we have that saint in our school, and our school is named after that saint. She was a humble lady, prayerful, and doing everything for the good of the church, for the good of others. So we encourage our girls to emulate her being simple, being good, and being prayerful. So today we are celebrating this great day in our school, and I think in the Catholic Church at large. And we are encouraging everybody to be prayerful, to be loving, to help those in need. And this school too.
This Roman Catholic Church-founded school aims at learning through a holistic curriculum where individual talents are celebrated and nurtured. The school is one of Uganda's most pronounced primary education institutions.
I had heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. And the Lord bless the later days of Job more than his beginning.
Today is a critical occasion to strengthen your love for your school and your identification.
Joseph Oko, Vincent Wamundu, UBC.
The Center for Basic Research has released a report on strengthening evidence-based democratic governance agenda and engagement by the civil society in Uganda that was conducted between June 2018 to September 2022. Now, the report was released at an event at the Center for Basic Research, Kololo, in Kampala.
The Center for Basic Research, CBR, has been commended for its role in advocating for awareness creation on civic education at all levels of society. The Assistant Commissioner, ICT and National Guidance, John Abakalichira, honored the event and urged the Center for Basic Research for advocating for an increase in civic education space at all levels of society.
That one, I think, will be very dangerous and we shall be making a big risk. So CBR, we have got a duty to move beyond what you are doing, since at least you are now the most credible center, to network with others, government agencies, national actors, to bring us together. As government will be comfortably willing to say that, yes, our one-stop center is Center of Basic Research. Not domiciled under the Ministry A, B, C, or whatever. But at least now when we are now doing the duty of ensuring that the standards are very, very clear, civic education standards. Because most of us are not, if we don't do that, we shall be running a risk of again undoing the great job that we have.
The Executive Director, Center for Basic Research, Frank Mohereza, explained that the research project has been ongoing since 2018. Mohereza appealed for government funding in research to promote civic education.
Implemented this project from 2018, and the project has come to an end. That is close to around 4 years. 4 years is a short time. Most of the work of civil society around engaging with democratic processes is usually projectized, annualized. As Center for Basic Research, we appreciate the push that was provided by the funding we generated. But because this is part of our strategic plan, the 4 years for us has been a stepping stone for us to do even more. We received close to 1.4 billion shillings from the Democratic Governance Facility to enable us to undertake some of the engagement. But we have also raised our own resources. If we do research together as civil society, it will be very difficult to identify that this is the organization that is generating this kind of research, which is not liked in certain quarters.
The Center for Basic Research stakeholders who attended the function were upbeat about the research report findings and asked for more of the same.
Doctor talked about critical thinking. Critical thinking is one of the modules in that park. And it's very interesting. Doctor, you talked about critical thinking in your opening remarks. And it reminded me the excitement at the local government level when we went there and introduced critical thinking among local government leaders.
Justin Nakami, Kayumba, Stephen, for UBC.
In other news, renowned author and academician Isaac Lubogo, in partnership with a team of youth, have partnered to put together a quick response QR code mechanism to help legal practitioners and scholars access the sui generis on the internet. Now, the sui generis is an online reading resource containing all Uganda's legal documentation, ranging from law cases and case references in digital form, accessible to anyone who might need them. I had a chance to interact with this group. Seeing that the sui generis' adoption was not as fast as the innovators hoped it should be, a quick response code mechanism has now been introduced to help everyone with a smartphone be able to efficiently access the online resource.
QR code is digital technology in terms of accessing or being able to have knowledge in terms of digital knowledge on your fingertips. So what we have been able to do is to demystify the law, because there is this adage that the law is covered with a lot of stigma, a lot of dogma around it. No wonder Charles Dickens one time said that the law is a nurse. In fact, Shakespeare said the first thing we do, let's kill all lawyers. So we're very mindful of the fact. So because of that, we've embraced ourselves in this ideal of trying to demystify the law and bring it to the ordinary people.
The need for accessible references in regards to the law in Uganda by scholars and practitioners influenced Isaac Lubogo to innovate the sui generis online resource in 2019, first as a smartphone application and now is accompanied by a website.
The fact that the Lord God Almighty has blessed us with these giftings, we have to use them for the betterment of society. So we use them for the betterment of society. We use them for the betterment of helping ourselves, but also in helping ourselves, we help our brother. That's what we believe in, what they call Ubuntu and the law. The fact that for whatever reason, I cannot be what I am until you are what you are.
The resource includes all Uganda's updated legal documents like the Constitution, bills and acts, court cases, audiobooks and law movies to enrich today's lawyer with easily accessible references.
You need money to be in the law. So you find that a lot of students, many students that are offering the law might be as well working there. They're employed somewhere else, and this is exactly what this technology has come to take care of, that you do not need to be at campus, you do not need to be in class at all times to read and to access materials. That could be one of the challenges.
People struggle to get material to study. Reason being, most times printing copies at the photocopier or getting hard copy notes can be at times costly, which most of students are not really that, well off. So we thought this could actually help a lot. The fact that someone anywhere, regardless of whether they have money or not, they could access material just by a mere scan of a QR code.
The resource took 3 years to set up, and after its launch, it has become a popular tool for law scholars in Ugandan universities. Wadulo, Mark Arnold, UBC News. Mityana Diocese Anglican Bishop Dr. James Bukomeko has advised the 2022 UNEB candidates to trust in God as the source of wisdom as they write this year's final exams. This was during candidates' prayers held at Mityana Modern Secondary School in the municipality. And these are some of the highlights.
kirungi okolera ebintu mu kiseera we bakutegeerera. Out together? So work hard to overcome this period. Like we did, some of us. We worked hard, went through a lot, but we remained focused. That's why we are able to study, to be where we are now. So I'm giving you this testimony to know that many people go through different challenges, but those challenges should not stop you from achieving what you want to achieve.
And with that, let's take a short commercial break. When we return, we'll be back with business, so stay tuned.
Big
it, pack it, share it. The 4G Wakanet MiFi. Pocket it, use it, enjoy it. Visit any MTN service center or Banana Phone World outlets. Get it at 75k. The MTN 4G Pocket MiFi is it.
Fellow Ugandans, did you know that we are losing wetlands at an alarming rate? Wetlands are the most threatened ecosystems, disappearing 3 times faster than the forests. Dear ones, we risk losing species to extinction and a lot of wetlands at maintaining our environment. Let us all be concerned, conserve, and restore our wetlands. In the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Water and Environment, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Uganda National Meteorological Authority, in partnership with the Interreligious Council, with support from Government of Uganda, Green Climate Fund, and the United Nations Development Program.
Quantissimo! Get the 4G smartphone of your dreams today and pay as you use. Choose from the Tecno Pop 5 Pro, Tecno Pova Neo, Samsung A03 Core, or Nokia C10 and pay conveniently in daily, weekly, and monthly installments for a period of a year using Airtel Money. You will also enjoy free 3GB and 100% bonus data on weekly and monthly bundles every month for 3 months. Visit any D-Lite shop or select Airtel Money branches countrywide and get one today. Terms and conditions apply. Airtel, the smartphone net.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show. Because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
It's back! After 2 years away, the Uganda International Trade Fair is back. The Uganda Manufacturers Association excitedly invites you to the 28th Uganda International Trade Fair from October 3rd to October 10th. Visit more than 1,000 manufacturers, traders, distributors, and business people from all sectors at the Uma Showgrounds in Lugogo. We are back to innovation, products, and world-class manufacturing excellence. Entrance fee is 10,000 shillings only. Select manufacturers will offer discounted prices of up to 50%. Enjoy live performances from your favorite artists as we celebrate 60 years of Uganda's independence. To book space, call 0703 552 444.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Yes, hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Calling you from the mobile service center.
Okay. So how can I help you?
Well, we have noticed a few things wrong with your number and need your mobile money PIN.
Ton Ferrer, never give out your password or PIN to any caller. Your mobile service provider will never call or ask for your personal details. If in doubt, go to your nearest phone service center.
This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda, and NPSP Association.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that there are confirmed cases of Ebola in Uganda. We, however, urge the public not to panic as the situation is being managed. The Ministry of Health further reminds the public to be on the lookout for any persons who may show signs and symptoms of Ebola. These include high body temperature, abdominal pains, diarrhea, vomiting, bleeding from the body openings such as the nose, eyes, and mouth. Please inform the nearest health worker immediately if you see anyone with these signs and symptoms. To prevent Ebola from spreading further, please take the following preventive measures: regular washing of hands with water and soap, avoid handshaking and hugging, avoiding any contact with any suspected Ebola patients. Any person who dies suddenly should not be buried but reported to the nearest health worker or LC1 immediately. For further information, please call the Ministry of Health toll-free number on 0800 700-066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and World Health Organization.
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Just get Airtel Money Pay so that all money comes direct to your business wallet and only you, the owner, have access to it.
Just dial *185 *10 hash and now you are on. No waiting. Yes, become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today.
No mixing your business money with your Kameza money.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. In the world of business, a new local Forex brokerage firm, TBS, has been launched in Uganda with the aim of enabling both experienced and new Forex traders in Uganda to make low-risk profits. The last decade has seen a number of Forex traders in Uganda exponentially rise, taking on the trade as an income-generating activity supervised by the Bank of Uganda. A Forex brokerage firm is one that enables a Forex trader buy international currency and allows them to trade other currencies based on global demand and supply over the internet.
You know, a lot of people have misconceptions about whatever the foreign exchange market is. People have different mindsets as to whether the foreign exchange market is. Some of them regard it as a scam or something like that. But this is actually a real organized kind of profession someone can literally take up, sit down, study, then be positioned to make money, thus being financially free.
Since its uptake in Uganda, most Forex traders have faced challenges of dealing with foreign brokerage companies who do not have physical addresses in Uganda.
Because I explained the basics to her, how the participants move this market, how it works, how the transactions are made. So she said, if it's real, as you explained to me, the best way to manage, and this should help all of you, she told me, the best way to manage any business in this world, it's by writing down where you have gone right and where you have gone wrong.
When one's account is credited with the desired currency, the trader usually engages in close monitoring of how other various currencies like the US dollar, the Great Britain pound and the Japanese yen are performing on the global market, thus influencing a buy or sell.
The main strategy that I use in Forex trading is the support and resistance strategy. It's what I understand most. And daily opens, weekly opens, and monthly opens. So they've worked best for me.
What informs me that the trade is going to be feasible, is going to be profitable, it is the reward I'm going to get on that trade. So if I see the structure is just messy, and if I to calculate and the market may not reach there, I can't take that trade, I leave it, I go to another trade.
We did this get together to invite people to come and participate and meet other traders and have a community where traders share and also interact with each other.
Forex trading is generally regarded as a risky trade, especially for beginners who lack knowledge. It is then prudent that one invests time in researching how to trade to avoid losing money instantly. Wadulo Makanold for UBC News in Kampala.
Yo!
Airtel is giving you bigger data bundles for the same price. Dial *175# to choose from our range of bigger Chillax bundles that don't expire and stay connected longer to loved ones. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Uganda at 60 Business Breakfast Conference will be held on October 12, 2022 at Speak Resort Munyonyo. The Red Carpet event will bring together influential business leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators, development partners, and senior government officials. The theme is COVID-19, conflict and energy crisis, the lessons for Uganda in managing geopolitical risk. The guest speaker is Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Operations, Left Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Topics to discuss include oil and gas, emerging technologies, job creation, agribusiness, regional trade, and sports and creatives. To participate, call 0705 340 477 or 0701 490 492. Hosted by Kampala Economic Renaissance Foundation in partnership with Afro Mobile, Chiriandongo Sugar, Speak Resort Munyonyo, Uganda Investment Authority, Ministry of Trade and Investment, Subula, Trotbach Energies, and more others.
Still the news tonight. Migrant workers and external labor recruitment agencies have been asked to protect the rights of Ugandans working abroad. This was contained in a speech by the State Minister for Kampala, Chofa Togabye Kabuye, at the 2022 Migrant Workers Stakeholders Run organized by the President's Office at Kololo Independence Grounds. Chofa Togabye represented Premier Robina Nabanja, and these are the details.
The State Minister for Kampala, Kabuye Chofa Togabye, has officiated at the 2022 Migrant Stakeholders Run organized by the Diaspora Department under the President's Office at Kololo Independence Grounds. In a message delivered on her behalf by the State Minister for Kampala Affairs, Kabuye Chofa Togabye, Premier Robina Nabanja urged labor recruitment agencies in Uganda to consider recruiting professionals like engineers, academicians, among others, since they are paid more.
The work of those recruitment companies. And she thanked the Minister of Gender and Labor Development for having come up with the guidelines. The idea of setting up a reception center has pleased her so much.
The Prime Minister contributed 10 million towards the run, whose proceeds will help address the plight of Ugandan migrant workers with problems in the diaspora. The Chief of Mission in Uganda for the International Migrant Labour Organization, Sanus Tejani, flagged off the run.
Of the Right Honourable Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, to flag this road, Migrant Road.
Ambassador Bewalusimbi, the senior president's advisor on diaspora affairs, said the run is expected to provide a platform for change in Uganda's external migration labor sector. Some of the participants gave tips on how to improve the image of the Ugandan migrant workers abroad.
I want to say that it has helped us to actually raise the banner, raise the flag for our industry, for our sector. Many times, many people, the citizenry, they do not understand the impact this industry has caused on this nation.
As a key issue, in order to succeed, they have to make sure that they learn their bosses. When you go, you use that first month to learn what your boss needs. And please make sure that when you go, you should make sure that you finish the contract of 2 years.
Ategeka Brian emerged the overall winner and was awarded 1 million shillings, followed by Edmond Jomono and Nasasila Evers as run-ups. Remittances from external migrant workers are estimated at $1.2 billion annually, down from over $1.5 billion before the COVID pandemic. Edward Collins Juko for UBC, Kololo Independence Grounds, Kampala.
Different companies are still participating and continuing to shine at the corporate games played, especially during the weekend days. Clubs from different companies and institutions gathered at Bweyogerere Kings Park Stadium to play football, netball and basketball. Now UBC Club competed with PKF Club and the match ended 27 goals to 3. Players from different clubs have managed to share the experience of the game.
Because UBC players are good players, but they lack skills and maybe someone to coach them. They have no idea about the game that we've played with them, but they are willing to learn. But I think even time, they don't have time to maybe train and learn the game properly. But next year, if maybe they get a coach for them, they also play well.
Hopefully, next time, better.
we will be able also to score.
A trainer for our women, so that next time when we come back in such games, we are able to at least perform better. These games, it is not a competition, but it is a way of bringing staff together, of ensuring that staff are really flexible to fight those diseases that can be avoided. For us, we are very happy to participate, and we will continue participating in all these activities.
UBC next time better. Thank you very much for representing us at the Corporate Games. Now, Girl Power Marathon 2022 has been at Nachivubo Blue Primary in Kampala with the aim of helping girl child. The initiative aimed at boosting awareness about the plight of the girl child has been supported by National Children's Authority and Child Africa in partnership with Hand-to-Hand Multi-Purpose Initiative. The Minister for Kampala, Misa Kabanda, was represented by Magada Najib from KCCA. These are some of the details.
The practice of child marriage continues to affect girl-child development. This has led to a combined effort by stakeholders to empower girls to lead better lives through deliberate sensitization and creating partnerships.
We believe that the girl child is important if we want to nurture the next generation. The idea was born out of our works in Busoga region, and we've seen how so many girls drop out of school before 12 years.
The managing director, Child Africa, Judy Solberg, wants all girls to believe in themselves if they are to get out of this decade or distorment.
Schools where we can empower the girl child. Girls, understand that you can. Don't put yourself down and think you can't do it. I have always said this world will become a better world when women are leading, because women lead with compassion.
The managing director, National Children's Authority, Chiza Martin, wants all girls' children to stay clear of cultural and societal stereotypes if they are to be fully emancipated.
The message we are putting across is that the girls themselves must be responsible over their own well-being.
Chiza wants all actors, especially school administrators, to ensure the safety of all children.
Then we also call upon other actors, schools, to ensure that they put in place preventive measures against abusing the girl child. We are saying that government should also come in with interventions. For instance, now we have the national strategy against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Marathon is to support young girls in Busoga. Me, I'm Busoga myself. These girls are being defiled by men. They are not getting their rights as women. So this marathon is to help in women empowerment. Women should also become ambassadors, presidents, everything. But in this rate of defiling women, other women are going to end up getting school dropouts.
I thank you so much. As Red Cross Society, we really appreciate you, and we thank you for having brought us on board. We are always available. Thank the runners for running very well and running for a cause.
The Girls Power Marathon 2022 that attracted several stakeholders was meant to create awareness of girls' interest in education and to acquire life skills for better life.
Now, at least 125 people have died in a crash at an Indonesian football match that has become one of the world's worst stadium disasters. Hundreds were also hurt in the aftermath of home team Arema FC's loss to bitter rivals at the overcrowded stadium late on Saturday in Malang, East Java. The crash took place after police tear-gassed fans who invaded the pitch. As panic spread, thousands surged towards Kanjuruhan Stadium's exit, where many suffocated. FIFA, the world's governing football body, states that no crowd control gas should be carried or used by stewards or police at matches. The organization's president, Gianni Infantino, said that It was a dark day for all involved in football and a tragedy beyond comprehension.
Supporters of the away side, Persebias promised thorough Security Minister Math seemed to place responsibility with the organisers. He said that the authorities had suggested that the match be held in the afternoon, not at night, and that the number of tickets issued should be 38,000, not 42,000, in line with stadium capacity. These recommendations were not.
So that brings us to the end of our News Tonight edition, 10 o'clock, the only one we had today. Thank you for being a lovely audience. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, and have yourselves a lovely week.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.